Hey everyone, welcome back to our podcast. I'm Sarah, and with me as always is my best friend Jake. Today we're diving into a topic that everyone can relate to, relationships.
That's right, Sarah. Relationships are such a big part of our lives, whether they're romantic, platonic, or familial. There's so much to unpack.
Exactly. So let's start with a broad question, Jake. What do you think makes a relationship healthy?
Great question. I think a healthy relationship is built on trust, communication, and mutual respect. Those are the core pillars, in my opinion.
I completely agree. Trust is huge. Without it, everything else kind of falls apart. But let's break it down a bit. What does trust look like to you in a relationship?
Trust to me means being able to rely on your partner. It's knowing that they have your back and will be honest with you, even when it's hard. It's about feeling secure and confident in the relationship. What about you?
I see trust as the foundation of a relationship. It's about being vulnerable and sharing your true self, knowing that your partner will accept you. It's also about consistency, doing what you say you'll do and being there for each other.
Consistency is key, and that ties into communication. I think one of the biggest challenges in relationships is learning how to communicate effectively. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, definitely. Communication can make or break a relationship. It's not just about talking, but also about listening and understanding. Sometimes we think we're communicating, but we're really just talking at each other. It's important to really hear what the other person is saying.
Right. And it's not just verbal communication. Nonverbal cues play a huge role too. Body language, facial expressions, even the tone of your voice, these all convey a lot.
Exactly. And misunderstandings can happen so easily. That's why it's important to clarify things and not make assumptions. Speaking of which, have you ever had a situation where communication broke down in a relationship?
Oh, for sure. I remember this one time with my ex. We were arguing about something trivial, but it escalated because we weren't really listening to each other. It wasn't until we sat down and really talked it out that we understood each other's perspectives.
That sounds familiar. I've been there too. It's amazing how many problems can be solved just by having an open and honest conversation.
Absolutely. And that brings us to another important aspect, respect. Respecting each other's opinions, feelings, and boundaries is crucial.
Yes, respect is fundamental. It's about valuing your partner as an individual and acknowledging their needs and desires.
And it's not just about the big things, it's also about the small, everyday acts of kindness and consideration. Those little gestures go a long way.
They really do. It's those small moments that build a strong connection over time. Speaking of connections, let's talk about emotional intimacy. How would you define that?
Emotional intimacy is about being able to share your innermost thoughts and feelings with your partner. It's about being open and vulnerable and feeling safe to do so.
Exactly. It's about creating a deep bond where you both feel understood and accepted. It's such an important part of a relationship.
Definitely. And it's something that takes time to develop. It doesn't happen overnight.
For sure. It requires patience and effort from both partners. It's about building trust and being there for each other through the ups and downs.
And speaking of ups and downs, every relationship has its challenges. What do you think are some common challenges couples face?
There are so many. One big challenge is dealing with differences, whether it's in personality, interests, or values. It can be tough to navigate those differences and find common ground.
Absolutely. And sometimes those differences can create conflict. Learning how to handle conflict in a healthy way is crucial.
Definitely, conflict is inevitable, but it's how you deal with it that matters. It's about finding a resolution that works for both parties.
And that ties back to communication and respect. It's important to approach conflicts with a mindset of understanding and compromise.
Exactly, and sometimes it might involve seeking outside help like couples therapy. There's no shame in getting support when you need it.
Agreed. Therapy can be incredibly beneficial. It provides a safe space to work through issues and learn new strategies for dealing with challenges.
Absolutely, and it shows a commitment to the relationship. It's about investing in each other and wanting to grow together.
Well said, Sarah. Another challenge I think couples face is maintaining a sense of individuality while being in a relationship. It's important to have your own interests and friends, even when you're part of a couple.
That's such a good point. It's easy to lose yourself in a relationship, but it's important to maintain your own identity. It makes the relationship stronger when both partners are whole individuals.
Exactly. And it brings a sense of balance. You can support each other's growth and encourage each other to pursue your passions.
Absolutely. And speaking of balance, let's talk about work-life balance in relationships. It can be so challenging to juggle work, personal time, and relationship time.
Yes, it can. It's important to set boundaries and make time for each other. It might involve scheduling date nights or just setting aside time to connect each day.
Definitely, it's about prioritizing the relationship and making sure it doesn't get lost in the shuffle of everyday life.
Agreed. And it's also about supporting each other in your respective careers and being understanding of each other's commitments.
Absolutely. It takes effort from both partners to maintain that balance, and sometimes it involves making sacrifices and compromises.
Right. It's about being flexible and willing to adjust when needed.
Definitely. And that brings us to another important aspect: gratitude. Showing appreciation for each other and acknowledging the little things can make a big difference.
So true. It's easy to take things for granted, but expressing gratitude helps strengthen the bond.
Absolutely, and it creates a positive atmosphere in the relationship.
Well, Sarah, I think we've covered a lot of ground today. Relationships are complex and multifaceted, but with trust, communication, respect, and effort, they can be incredibly rewarding.
Absolutely, Jake. It's all about putting in the work and being there for each other. Thanks to our listeners for joining us today. We hope you found our discussion helpful.
Some common questions related to relationships, along with thoughtful answers.
What are the key elements of a healthy relationship?
The key elements of a healthy relationship include trust, communication, respect, and mutual support. Trust is fundamental as it allows partners to feel secure and confident in each other. Communication involves both talking and listening effectively, ensuring that both partners feel heard and understood. Respect means valuing each other's opinions, feelings, and boundaries. Mutual support involves being there for each other through good times and bad, encouraging each other's growth, and maintaining a balance between individuality and togetherness.
How can couples improve their communication skills?
Couples can improve their communication skills by practicing active listening, where they focus on understanding their partner's perspective without interrupting. They should use I statements to express their feelings without blaming, e.g., I feel upset when, instead of, you always. It's important to clarify misunderstandings by asking questions and paraphrasing what the other person said to ensure comprehension. Scheduling regular check-ins to discuss feelings and concerns can also help maintain open lines of communication.
What are some signs of an unhealthy relationship?
Signs of an unhealthy relationship include constant criticism or lack of respect, controlling behavior, and lack of trust. Other red flags are emotional or physical abuse, manipulation, and feeling isolated from friends and family. If one partner feels consistently unhappy or fearful, it's a strong indicator that the relationship may be unhealthy.
How can partners build trust in a relationship?
Trust can be built by being reliable and consistent in actions and words. Keeping promises and being honest, even when it's difficult, helps establish trust. It's also important to show empathy and understanding, support each other's goals and aspirations, and respect each other's boundaries. Over time, these behaviors build a foundation of trust.
What role does compromise play in a relationship?
Compromise is essential in a relationship as it allows both partners to feel valued and heard. It involves finding a middle ground where both parties can agree, even if it means sacrificing some of their own desires for the sake of the relationship. Compromise helps resolve conflicts and ensures that both partners' needs are considered, promoting harmony and cooperation.
How important is emotional intimacy in a relationship?
Emotional intimacy is crucial as it fosters a deep connection and understanding between partners. It involves sharing personal thoughts, feelings, and experiences, which creates a sense of closeness and trust. Emotional intimacy allows partners to feel supported and understood, strengthening the bond and resilience of the relationship.
How can couples maintain individuality while being in a relationship?
Couples can maintain individuality by encouraging each other to pursue personal interests and hobbies, maintaining friendships outside the relationship, and setting aside personal time. It's important to support each other's personal growth and to respect each other's need for space. This balance ensures that both partners can grow as individuals while strengthening the relationship.
What are some effective ways to handle conflicts in a relationship?
Effective ways to handle conflicts include staying calm and avoiding blame, focusing on the issue at hand rather than bringing up past grievances, and actively listening to each other's perspectives. It's helpful to take a break if emotions run high and revisit the discussion when both partners are calmer. Finding a compromise and agreeing on a solution together can resolve conflicts constructively.
How can couples keep the spark alive in a long-term relationship?
Couples can keep the spark alive by regularly scheduling date nights, trying new activities together, and expressing appreciation for each other. Small gestures of love and affection, such as surprise gifts, compliments, and physical touch, can also help maintain the romance. Communication about desires and fantasies can keep the relationship exciting and intimate.
What should a person do if they feel their relationship is in trouble?
If a person feels their relationship is in trouble, they should first communicate their concerns with their partner openly and honestly. Seeking to understand the root causes of the issues and working together to find solutions is important. If the problems persist, seeking the help of a relationship counselor or therapist can provide professional guidance and support. It's also crucial to assess whether the relationship is worth saving and to prioritize one's own well-being.
Yes, thank you, everyone. And remember, every relationship is unique, so find what works best for you and your partner. Until next time.